Mobile water, unique in every way.
Hello, good afternoon. This is the Midday News. The news is live on Joy 99.7 in Accra, on Love 99.5 in Kumasi, and on myjoyonline.com. We're also live in all 16 regions of Ghana, including Bishara Radio, Tamale, Sky, Sunyani, and Radio Free Nandum. We're also live on X Spaces and Facebook. The Midday News is supported by Petrosol, your clean fuel in full quantity. Petrosol, Platinum Energy, energizing dreams. Coming up, Imani demands specifics from the governing NPP over the promise to introduce a flat tax regime following the launch of the party's manifesto.
I don't hear specifics. I mean, it's a bit difficult to understand, for instance, with the flat tax, what level, what rates of flat tax.
We have details of this, but Guta is already excited about the promise, saying it will enhance tax justice and lead more people to pay their fair share.
We're looking at flat tax rates. The current VAT system brings a lot of disparity, which defiles the basic principle of taxation, that is fairness and equity.
Also, we'll be hearing from teachers on the promise to review their conditions of service and incentivize them to buy vehicles. Also coming up this afternoon, almost the same script but different cast as presidential candidates of the NPP and NDC take positions on key national issues in their manifestos.
That's why we are committed and training 1 million young Ghanaians in coding.
We will train at least 1 million youth in IT skills.
It's less than 24 hours for the exhibition of the voter register. The political parties say they are yet to receive copies to enable them to monitor the process.
On the 8th of this month, they wrote to us that we should come on the 14th. On Friday, they asked us to come on Sunday. And today is Monday. So we are here to demand for it.
Well, we'll be live at the office of the Electoral Commission as the body prepares to address the media with sports.
NPP flag bearer Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia unveils sector plans including new buses for Premier League clubs and the construction of 6 modern stadia. Also, farmers along the White Volta River have 3 to 6 days to harvest their crops or risk them losing it to the floodwaters from the Bagri Dam as the Bukna Bay officials start spillage today.
It will take about 3 to 6 days to have an impact downstream, especially in Ghana. And so those who have things like maize and co on their farms, then we encourage them to harvest them before the 3 to 6 days.
And much later.
I no longer fear the effects of the flood.
Hope gradually waning for residents who live in flood-prone areas near the Kwame Nkrumah Circle, as they say. They've seen no major works to address the perennial situation there. We have details of these coming up with me, Mamiesi Nyamiche Thompson. Stay for details. Imani Africa is demanding specifics from the NPP over its promise to introduce a flat tax rate system. Flag bearer Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia reiterated his commitment to introduce the system in Ghana in a bid to simplify tax administration, which he said will make it easier for businesses to file and pay their taxes and propel growth. But Imani Africa President Franklin Kudjo says while the proposal is a great idea, no specifics have been provided. We'll hear from him shortly. First, though, here's a political desk report capturing some of the key promises made, including a review of teachers' conditions of service and also to incentivize them to buy cars.
The new Patriotic Party, NPP, has gone big on promises to almost all sectors of the economy. The party has specific promises to specific groups. Conditions of service for teachers featured prominently in the manifesto, with the NPP flag bearer Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia promising to review the conditions of service for teachers, including an incentive to all teachers to buy cars.
We, as a result, will recruit more teachers at all levels with improved conditions of service. We will offer incentives also for teachers to buy 1 vehicle each with an engine capacity of up to 1,800 cc.
The 2024 manifesto, the NPP had earlier indicated, will focus on business and private sector. The Vice President has made a raft of new promises to deal with the tax administration of the country.
The next NPP government will introduce a very simple citizen-friendly and business-friendly flat tax system. And a flat tax will be of a percentage of income for individuals and businesses with appropriate exemption thresholds set to protect the poor.
The youth also had their share, with Dr. Bawumia promising to create more job opportunities.
We are equally committed to creating more job opportunities that will significantly reduce youth unemployment among the national population.
Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia also threw jabs at former President Mahama, who he said was dodging an invitation to a debate. With the NDC also now set to launch its own manifesto, the stage is now set for a comparison of the policy blueprint both parties are offering ahead of the crucial 2024 election. Kweku Asante for Joy News.
Well, speaking on the Super Morning Show, President of Imani Africa, Franklin Cudjoe, tasked the NPP to explain the exact percentage this flat tax rate will entail.
I don't hear specifics. I mean, it's a bit difficult to understand, for instance, with the flat tax, what level, what rate of flat tax. Flat tax is a great idea, by the way, and we needed to hear exactly what the percentages will look like. Because you're not now going to tell us that let's wait for details. We don't have that time. I mean, after 7 and 8 years at the helm, there should be certain specifics. Okay. So we need to know what the percentage. And if you want to do differential taxation, because that's the way it works for businesses, individuals, and what have you, we needed to know. Especially because they predicated all this particular important promise on the back of a tax amnesty. If you don't have enough money, it's always difficult to, what should I call it, rake in revenue. I mean, we know that challenge, especially now that you're proposing a flat tax revolution. It's a beautiful thing. We should have worked the maths right now so that we know that if it is 20%, given the numbers we have, we're going to get this. Especially when you're extending it to, for instance, spare parts dealers, that segmentation is useful. So it means we must have done the work. So we needed to hear that.
But the Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA, says this proposal, if implemented, will be a game changer. Charles Kusia Piakubi is head of business and economic bureau of GUTA.
What we're so much happy about was the tax amnesty that was given to businesses. Over the period, we raised concern about the tax net of this country and the burden that is placed on registered tax agents. So today, if we are going to give businesses tax amnesty, as well means that it's going to open the floodgate for every business to come on board and pay taxes. That will reduce the tax burden that has been on that the few identified businesses in the country. 2, we're looking at flat tax rate. The current VAT system brings a lot of disparity, which defiles the basic principle of taxation, that is fairness and equity. So within the market, you have people on flat rate 4%. We have those on salary to effective rate of 21%. Selling the same commodities do not create that self-compliance. So a lot of people are not paying taxes. They are avoiding taxes. They are evading taxes because of the structure and the non-compelling compliance of the current taxes. So if it's going to harmonize the tax system to ensure flat rate, it's a good news for us.
Well, let's get some reactions on the NPP manifesto, which is promising to review the conditions of service of teachers and also motivate them to buy cars. Joining us right now is Thomas Musa, General Secretary of NAGRET. We're grateful for your time. First, how do you receive the pledge to review your conditions of service and also motivate you to buy cars?
So thank you very much. We've been here before. And I think that we cannot easily progress without looking at what has happened in recent history. Somewhere, I think some few years back, we engaged the government and they promised us that they are going to ensure that we get affordable housing. And in fact, when the government came into office, specifically if you look at the budget statement, paragraph, if you look at page 105 and paragraph 589, paragraph 589 on page 105, it is there that the government will engage the teacher unions, and specifically NAGRA, to ensure that the affordable housing is put in place. About 4 years down the line, somewhere 2022, In fact, we invited His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana. Our own Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo came to our program, specifically KNUSC Kumasi, where he indicated that 10,000 houses will be built within the next 2 years. That this promise was made in 2022. So we are almost ending the second year. Teachers have always been asking about this affordable housing. So this is a nice opportunity to give a reminder of that particular promise. Aside that, before I come to the vehicle thing, I need to point out the second item which are of concern to teachers, and that is their collective agreement, which was signed recently. In that particular agreement, there were some key takeaways that the government promised to get it done as soon as possible. One of them is the promotion of teachers from the deputy director rank to director 2, and subsequently to director 1 rank. This thing is a pending thing, and according to the agreement we signed, by September ended, it will be done. The other one is teachers working in deprived areas. That one also, the promise was that 1 month after the signing of the collective agreement, they will make sure that they get it done. And that should have, that this 1 month elapsed 24th of June. Yeah. Then we have the issue of the laptop and other related ones. Then that brings me now to the issue of the vehicle. The issue of the vehicle, it is something that we were enjoying some time past. And so if His Excellency is saying that you bring it back, it's a good thing and we welcome it. But like I have said, the other ones that we have been promised and they have not been delivered, we are asking of it, and we want them to speak to those issues for us. And the final thing, if I may add, we made one particular request, and this thing has been published widely, that we need a pre-tertiary education, funding act. How do we intend to fund the public education, particularly the basic education in Ghana?
Yes.
We need our way out, because currently, basic education is suffering. Basic education is bleeding in Ghana.
Understandably so, Mr. Musa, but we have a very brief time. Just to get you to answer this briefly before I let you go, you've raised these concerns and even the issues with the delivery of laptops. Do you place premium on this promise that the Vice President has made, or the flag bearer of the NPP?
Oh, it is not for me to rate it. This particular promise to Ghanaians, and I'm indicating to you that there have been other ones that have been made, and our members have always been asking. So if a new one has been made and I am to speak to it, I can't speak to it without reminding government about the earlier promises that have been made. And it is for them to prove us wrong that they intend to deliver those promises.
Right.
Because they are the people making the promise. So I cannot indicate that this thing will be delivered or not. No, they are the people making the promise, and they must prove to us beyond reasonable doubt that they intend to deliver them. That's it.
Thank you so much. Mr. Thomas Musa is General Secretary of NAGRAT. Still on the manifesto, the proposed Cape Coast Airport remains one of the most anticipated yet unfulfilled promises of the NPP's infrastructure agenda. Dr. Bawumia first introduced it in the 2020 manifesto, saying it will be a catalyst for boosting tourism and business in the central region. For residents, it represented a bigger gateway to the international community, especially when paired with the promise of an aircraft repair center in Commander.
People of Cape Coast, I have good news for you. We are building a new harbor in Cape Coast and a new airport in Cape Coast. It is very critical that we do that. An airport makes a lot of sense in Cape Coast.
However, as President Akufo-Addo's administration comes to a close, the airport project has yet to break ground. During a visit by the Uguaman Traditional Council, the concerned chief sought answers from the president himself. Here's how he responded.
Airport there. Asam kakraba. Then they saying Central region airport. Western region also, but there will be a mixture of central and western region. Some strategic place for her. I'm saying about the
Well, as the NPP gears for the upcoming elections, Dr. Bawumia once again reiterated his commitment to kickstart construction of the Cape Coast Airport should the party be granted another term.
We will also commence the development of the much talked about by us in our last manifesto, the development of the Cape Coast Airport, for which funding has been secured.
Yet the question of when lingers on the minds of Cape Coast residents. Some of them are even doubting it will materialize. My colleague Eric Asante spoke to some of them.
I'm not too sure. I mean, air travel is fine, it's good, but within Accra and Cape Coast, really, I mean, putting up airports all over the place. It's as if we are racing to dice out this country so that we travel, should I call it, in record time, maybe through time and space. I seriously don't think this promise is needed at all. I think we are better off probably expanding the route.
First promise, and it didn't happen, and they've promised again. I wouldn't want to believe it, because when you promise and you fail and you promise again, I mean, how would I believe it? I do not believe that it would happen.
If he says he's going to do an airport at Cape Coast, I'm not sure it's going to be possible, because he has said a lot of things and all of it he has failed in ways in providing it.
Most of the people in the diaspora, Cape Coast and Oba, because of the tourist hub and a tourism hub over Cape Coast. But this isn't the first time MPP were promising Cape Coast the overseas airports amount.
And you heard that some residents of Cape Coast disagreeing that the airport will materialize. You also heard Imani Africa's Franklin Kujo saying that the resources could be put to better use. Still on the NPP manifesto, it's almost the same script, but with a different cast, as presidential candidates of the governing NPP and the opposition NDC take different stances on key national issues in the various manifestos. As a member of our political desk, Elton Brobe reports the approach may be different, but the subject is one they agree on.
Let's start with the party's position of women economic empowerment. And according to the flag bearer of the NDC, John Mahama, the party will establish a women's development bank. The bank, according to the NDC, will cater to small-scale business women, such as hawkers or anyone without huge capital to run their business.
If it comes to trade and commerce, our women dominate that sector. And most of the time, all they need is just a little credit to be able to use as capital to be able to do their business. And yet there is no helper. And that's why NDC says when we come into office, we're going to create the National Women's Bank.
The MPP also recognizes women economic empowerment, but the flag bearer, Dr. Mamadou Bawumia's approach is slightly different.
We will establish a Women's Trade Empowerment Fund, WOTEF, to support women-owned businesses. We will ensure gender parity in the award of government scholarship.
According to the Electoral Commission figures for the 2020 elections, the youth between the ages of 18 and 35 formed the majority on the voters' roll, accounting for 9.5 million eligible voters. The group is likely to determine the outcome of the December 7 general election. Therefore, a focus on them by the two political parties on digitization. The NDC's John Mahama is promising a $3 billion investment in the digital space for the youth.
And that is why we are committed to supporting digital startups and incubation hubs and training 1 million young Ghanaians in coding. Additionally, we will invest the equivalent of $3 billion to build a vibrant technology and fintech industry.
The MPP's Dr. Mamadou Bawumia has a similar program for the youth.
Providing digital software skills to hundreds of thousands of youth. This, along with other priorities, will create jobs for the youth, including school dropouts. We will train at least 1 million youth in IT skills.
And of course, the free senior high school program features in the two items of priority for the two parties.
We will protect and enhance free SHS and free TVET, which is truly transforming lives.
We are going to improve the free SHS. We are going to work hard to remove the obnoxious double track system.
Elton Brobe for Joy News.
Well, the NDC will launch its manifesto at the University of Education, Winneba, on Saturday. Let me take you now to the Electoral Commission. And the EC is facing increasing backlash from some political parties for failing to provide certified copies of the provisional electoral register, which it intends to use for the 2024 election. Although the Commission plans to start a voter exhibition exercise on August 20, some political parties claim they have yet to receive the necessary register. With less than 24 hours until the exercise begins, representatives from at least 3 political parties have gone to the EC to demand the electoral rolls. However, speaking to Joy News, National Youth Organizer of the PNC, Mark Awudu, says political parties that demanded the document were reportedly told by the EC is yet to finalize the provisional register.
On the 8th of this month, they wrote to us that we should come on the 14th. On Friday, they asked us to come on Sunday, and today is Monday. So we are here to demand for it. So it is not a protest. So the police needs no information from us. No political party is asleep as far as I am concerned. Because if you are a serious political party and you are really interested in contesting the 2024 elections, you shouldn't be sleeping. You should be.
Well, the Electoral Commission is expected to hold a press conference this afternoon on the matter. Let me take you live there and speak to my colleague, Kweku Asante, who is there for us. Kweku, what's happening?
Well, the issue has just concluded the meeting with the Election Security Task Force chaired by Dr. John, the IGP. There has been assurance that the election is going to be free and fair. He has been warning political parties that as part of the voter exhibition exercise starts tomorrow, any person who foments trouble at any place will be arrested and dealt with. We expect the Electoral Commission to also brief journalists in the next few minutes. The IGP and other security chiefs are currently meeting the Commission chairperson behind closed doors ahead of that press conference that is expected to happen within the next 30 minutes.
Thank you so much, Kweku Asante, and he's there for us and bringing us updates of what's happening there. You're still listening to the Midday News on Joy 99.7 FM. We'll take a break. We'll return with sports. And later, farmers along the White Volta River have 3 to 6 days to harvest their crops or risk losing them to the flood waters from the Bagri Dam as the Bokna Bay officials start spillage today.
It will take about 3 to 6 days to have an impact downstream, especially in Ghana. And so those who have things like maize and co on their farms, then we encourage them to harvest them before the 3 to 6 days.
The luckiest, luck is everywhere, for everyone, yeah. The luckiest. Luck is everywhere, for everyone, yeah.
Doctors,
nurses,
barbers,
drivers,
bouncers,
friends,
teachers,
bankers. You could be the luckiest, you could be the luckiest.
East, west, north, south,
you could be the luckiest, you could be the luckiest.
Accra to Haga.
Let's go. The luckiest. Luck is everywhere, for everyone, yeah. The luckiest. Luck is everywhere, for everyone, yeah.
Doctors,
nurses,
barbers,
drivers,
bouncers,
friends,
teachers,
bankers. The luckiest. You could be the luckiest.
Welcome back to the Midday News. We have sports.
Yes, my Mrs. So the flag bearer of the NPP, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, has been promising improvements in the sports sector ahead of the national elections. Among his many pledges are the provision of a bus for each of the 18 Ghana Premier League clubs and the construction of a stadium in each of the 6 new regions.
We will support the revival of the Premier League and clubs to improve commercial viability and create related jobs, including player remuneration. And also we will provide a bus to each Premier League club. And we will build 6 5,000-seater capacity stadia for the new regions, the 6 new regions, and we will build a standard stadium for Sunyani because of their love of football and the many clubs in Sunyani.
There you go, the flag bearer of the NPP, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
Thank you so much, Mubarak. Now, NADMO is warning farmers along the White Volta River to harvest their farm produce within 3 to 6 days or risk losing them to flood waters from the Bagri Dam as the Burkina Bay Power Utility Authority, Sonabel, commenced spillage today. Among measures to mitigate the effect of the spillage is the relocation of residents along the floodways to higher grounds. Speaking on the AM show with Sweetie Abochi, Director of Communications at NADMO, George Isi said the entity, in collaboration with stakeholders, have started relocating residents to higher grounds.
The regional director of NADMO for Upper East and all the other adjoining regions have been alerted to be on the standby, and they've started conscientizing and getting people to move their properties, especially movable ones, like goats, cattle, and others that are close to the banks of the river to safety places. We're also encouraging them to integrate with families in safer and higher lands and all that. So the sensitization is begun. We're involving the opinion leaders, the chiefs, the police, and other security agencies to support. We're going to start from the Upper East region. We are looking at the Zebula district, the Napdam, the Pusiga district.
Well, despite ongoing efforts by NADMO officials in the North Gonja district to relocate residents, mostly fisher folks and crop farmers along the White Volta in Daboya and Yape in the North and Central Gonja districts of the Savannah region, have adopted the wait-and-see attitude. They are anticipating that the spillage will not have much impact on them and their businesses. Correspondent Isaac Nonya joins me online with details on this. Isaac, what reasons are these residents given and why are they not moving?
It all has to do with the assurance that if they relocate and come back, they can have access to their original settlement. Because previously, according to them, some 3-4 years ago, they were made to move. When they returned, other people were there, and then they have to struggle out of them before they had the place back. So it has to do with possession. Until they are assured that when they relocate and come back, they have access to their place, they will not move. Remember, last 2 years, it's not Gonja. A house was submerged. All the people moved out, leaving the landlord, who claimed that we have to be there until the water subsides and he protect his properties. So now, even the DC, the MP went there. He refused to move. He put a bench in the water and then sat on top until the water submerged, and then they family returned and they were there.
All right, Isaac, so keep an eye on that for us. Now, time after time, some residents who live in flood-prone areas keep hope alive that one day their plight of having to run out of their homes when the rain season sets in will be addressed. But it seems that hope is gradually waning. Hani Odami has more in this latest episode of Floods of Trauma.
After years of keeping hope alive without receiving any major help, some residents living at flood-prone area, Odona, say they have accepted their fate and have devised backup plans to keep they and their properties safe when the rains came down. 52-year-old Sarah Kote Oyo has lived in this house for 45 years. She tells me until the overpass was constructed at the Kwame Nkrumah Circle and the drains in their backyard covered, they lived without fear of the rain. In fact, they enjoyed it when they see the clouds, but not anymore.
Previously, the drain behind our house was just okay to contain all the rainwater, but now it cannot hold that much water because the drain has been covered. Due to that, any little rain causes flooding. People have also built on the waterways, and this has really messed us up.
Sarah is concerned about the daily construction of shelters in the vicinity, mostly on waterways.
The former assemblyman in this area used to discipline those who choked the passage of the drains. But now, I think things are out of hand. No one is enforcing strict building regulations anymore.
Her room is no longer a luxurious place where she can comfortably relax after a hard day's work. In fact, it is like a nightmare when she enters. Sarah's coping mechanism is working. But she does not want her children to go through the same situation. She wants them to enjoy the legacy handed them by their grandmother and hopes for a permanent solution, not in the near future, but now.
I no longer fear the effects of the flood. It is not because I have accepted this as my fate.
Hannah Adami with that report. Now, CTEC members are currently in a crunch meeting with the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, the Ministries of Education, Finance and Employment and Labour Relations, and other key stakeholders on their concerns, hoping it will yield positive results that could result in the end of their 67-day-old strike. We have eyes on the ground and we'll bring you updates on what happens. But right about now, I'm eager to know what's trending. Jackie is in the studio with me. What's up?
Well, the MPP 2024 Manifesto launch is trending. Netizens on social media have been sharing their opinions after Dr. Bawumia said those who manage to get employed after tertiary will be exempted from NSS. And now this user, Dr. Vim, says this policy is for the rich. If a poor man's son or daughter doesn't secure a job, it means national service. And Fixing Dennis says, me will never get connection secure job after school is not part of those, but we move. And this last comment also says from Abisola, says you people should build another world, and that would be better.
Well, let's see.
Talking about that.
Let's see how it goes. That's how we end the midday news here on Joy 99.7, also live on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi and around the world at myjoyonline.com. Up next is Living Word with Pastor Mensa Otabil.